Welcome to Hardstyle America, brought to you by Hardstyle Maniacs. I am your host, Biggest Big Rob, and my co-host, as always,
DJ Magic. What it do?
What it do indeed. Very exciting stuff here. Man, if you haven't heard by now, Hardstyle Maniacs, we released the beast. You know who's headlining Arizona in August? The man himself, Gio. Supported by, XOXO, Magic himself, Obstructa, Hosers. Is it Hosers or Hosers?
I think Hosers.
Okay,
Hoosers? H-O-S-E-R-Z, right?
Yeah, Hosers.
Yeah.
All right, man. If I butcher your name, my bad, man. I'll buy you a drink.
We'll buy him a drink anyways.
Yeah, and so there's a lineup, guys. Very exciting. It's gonna hit hard in Arizona. I think we're coming in, making some big noise for our first inaugural event out there, and we're very excited to say that not only was this a Hardstyle Maniacs effort to bring this show together, but when we released it, we had a nationwide collaboration of promoters who were sharing our event. And that's something that you don't see often or very rarely. I haven't seen it lately, but I remember back in the 90s, we used to do this where we had events or house parties or raves, and we would give, 500,000, or 1,000 or 10,000 flyers to our, collaborating partners with other party crews. And everybody would unite forces and promote our one event, obviously. That's kind of what we did in the past 2 weeks, and it's very exciting to see that it still exists. So unity still exists amongst the market, and we're very excited that we were able to find it again. We've been getting a lot of support from a lot of promoters out there as well. So big shouts out to you all. You know who you are. San Diego Hardstylers, Euphoria in Chicago. You got Underground City in Texas, Too Hard in the Bay Area, keeping Austin hard. And, for the most part, everybody in Arizona as well. Thank you for showing us love on those posts. So, yeah, we're very excited to work with all you guys, even though we're not working together, but we're working together. And that's what makes...
we're working together, like in the spirit.
The operations side.
The spirit of
That's what I'm saying. We're not working together, but we're working together. And, that's very exciting stuff. So big shouts out to everyone. And if I missed you and if you shared our post, obviously Dimension G, we can't forget about our boy out in Southern California.
I was going to say one group I am absolutely working with is Dimension G. Geo, I am looking forward to seeing my drip for the... I was going to say Wasteland. You know what? I'm going to have it available and ready for the August show, since I'll make that announcement in a minute. Well, can I? I guess we're making announcements.
Yeah,
right?
Why not?
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go to Wasteland this year, and there's a very good reason. I've gone to Wasteland every year for the last several years, and I had made arrangements. I got my VIP tickets. I've been super excited, and then I was honored to be invited to Burning Man. And I got a spot at Burning Man, and this is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, I feel. So, Wasteland's going to be there. Burning Man will be there next year, too, but I'm not so sure about my access or being able to go. And so I really want to be able to honor the opportunity that I have and be able to take the time and be able to share that with my sister and with the other friends and family that she's been able to meet along the years. And so if you're going to be going to Wasteland, please stay in contact with me. We have people from our team that's going. They're going to be collecting content, doing interviews, whatnot. If you'd like to be able to talk about your experience at Wasteland, please let us know. But I unfortunately will not be going.
Well, that's definitely terrible news in terms of not attending, but that's also amazing news to have you on the lineup. So, it's a great opportunity. We're glad that you actually got it. Hopefully this is many, many more, or one of many to come. And I'm certain of that. On top of that, before we go deeper into the current events, in the back end, we have Jimmy X. So we're very excited to have him on the show today. He's patiently waiting, and we want to thank him for being patient. So we're very excited to get Jimmy X on the show, and we can share his story, and he can tell us about everything he's got going on and so forth. So that's very exciting stuff as well. So, and on top of that, if you guys haven't noticed,
I was gonna say you got some of those to show.
Yeah, off. This one I will not be selling because it's gonna be an open package, obviously, but I might give this one to Magic, since Magic he said he wanted one.
I do want a green one. I'm gonna be
So
all over Burning Man with my Hardstyle Maniacs fan. And yeah, while you're getting that open, I'm just excited to be able to bring Jimmy X on the show as well. He's a friend that I met about a year ago whenever I was on the East Coast, and I think he's primarily out of the Washington D.C. area and whatnot. And he's doing a lot of great things there on the East Coast. Let's see what you got. Oh, dude, that's sick.
there it
I
is.
love. I love it. That's awesome.
Yep. So this is the no limit beats per minute or beat PM, because there really isn't no limits now these days anymore. I mean, we had Little Texas doing 2,000 beats per minute. If I remember one time,
Wait, 2000?
yeah, it was
You
only
know
for
what I
about
will say?
5 seconds.
I downloaded a song from Andy the Core the other day, and I was trying to analyze it through Record Box and Serato, and everything it came up as 100 beats per minute. And I sent it to my homie. I was like, bro, like, tell me what this BPM to you is. He's like, dude, that's got to be like what, 190, 200? I said, that's what I said. Tell that to Record Box, bro. Like, it's so fast that the analytics couldn't even properly rate the BPM. Either that, or they're like, man, we got to drop this down to 100 BPM because nobody's going to be able to follow that. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. I love it though. I absolutely.
Yeah, I think he goes work. That was his ending for EDC that evening. So he goes, "Are you ready for this?" And then he dumped it up to 200, 300, and he says, "We're gonna go for the Mecca." And I could have swore it was like 2,000. I'll just say 2,000 because that's what I remember.
That's
and
crazy.
Shit face drunk, but you know what? That sounds about right. So he plays it, and it lasted about 5 seconds, and it was insanity. Everybody just went crazy, just like, and
Whole song done.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, there's no limit to those BPM. So yeah, I agree with that 100%. No limit BPM.
And what colors do you have? You got green and what else?
I have the blend, which is a red and yellow. I didn't get to open that one, but
No. I was just wondering in case people wanted them.
yeah. So these will be going. I was gonna put on the website last week. And to be quite honest with you, I got lazy and I had things to do. Unfortunately, I did not get to that portion of the process, but I will get them done this week. Well, I shouldn't say this weekend because this weekend we are going to be in Arizona, by the way. So our friend XOXO is going to be on the hard dance stage out at Club 8, if I'm not mistaken, in Arizona. And I believe
I'm going to look it up as we're doing our next song.
So big shouts out to XOXO who's going to be out there. So we're going to be out there supporting them. So we got our rooms and everything. So we will be in Arizona out there. So if you're in the area or you're at that event, be sure to look out for myself, Magic, and XOXO. You'll see them on stage. So very excited to be out there and showing that support in the Arizona hard dance market. So, or community, should I say.
Right.
So, for something that wasn't very a busy 2 weeks for us, it sure seemed like a lot happened.
Yeah, no, it was actually, and just a shout out to the people that showed up to the pool party that I DJ'd on Saturday. It was a lot of fun. I really appreciate the good vibes and energy and amazing food. So thank you everybody that came out. I think the next show I have going on is 4th of July. Same venue, same party. So if you want in, give me a call, text me, shoot me a message, and we'll get through it.
Absolutely. And for those of you who are not following us on any social media platforms, our links are down below there somewhere. You should see the Instagram and Twitch, Mixcloud, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, yada, yada, yada. So be sure to follow us. And to get your tickets for Arizona, be sure to visit hardstylemaniacs.com. We have a link on the page for you guys to go directly to get your tickets. They are starting to sell. So tier 1 is almost sold out. That is the most economical ticket price you'll ever find for Geo. And we just hit something up for Loyal Maniacs. So if you're going to get your tickets and you want to be saving a little money so you can buy some drinks at the venue, I suggest you get your tickets now. Make sure you go to hardstylemaniacs.com because I promise you Gio's getting ready to start his marketing campaign and they will sell out. And then you're just going to get bumped up to the next year and the next year and the next year. Before you know it, you'll be paying retail price. Come on, guys. Get your tickets today. Be an early bird, and you don't want to do that.
All right. So we have our guest.
Yes, Jimmy X. So why don't we just put on the track, before we get a little bamboozled?
Hey,
Hey.
speaking of bamboozle,
I just had to throw it in there. I don't know if it's
that was a
fitting
good
with a
one.
punchline, but I guess I just naturally bamboozle myself from time to time. Anyway,
It's a good
here's
one.
Jimmy X, guys, for his first track. Be sure to follow him. We'll right back. When we come right back, actually, he'll come into the broadcast and you'll be able to see everything about Jimmy X. He'll tell you what he's got going on, what's coming up, and well, I'm sure we'll get into some good insights. So here we go. First track, Bamboozled.
Stop your tomfoolery. Show them who you are. Yeah. Bamboozle. Yeah. 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 Stop your tomfoolery.
Axiom, the tasty truth.
Welcome,
Hey.
Jimmy X. Welcome.
What up, guys? What's up? What's up?
Not much, just here, just hanging out. Doing,
Just going ham with that last track, bro. That
you
was
know,
amazing.
dude, I felt like I was back and you remember back in the days in the 90s when all this hard banging house stuff was coming out. I honestly felt that I was inside one of the old rails, just needed my whistle and my glow sticks, and we were there.
The good
Yeah,
old days, man.
amazing vibes, man. Tell us about your track real quick. Bamboozled.
Yeah, it's our latest release on Cryptic Music, which is a sub label of my company called HardX Music. And I started that label back in 2018 to start producing my own stuff. So me and my producing partner by the name of Splatterhouse, we got together, we collaborated, and came up with that song. So I feel like sometimes the industry tries to bamboozle people. So this is my answer to that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hmm.
They do bamboozle people with all that legal mumbo jumbo and the contracts.
Yep.
So yeah,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
What do you think about the Spotify drama that's going on, where the CEO of Spotify was saying, "Oh, content, our music, our content is close to zero to create."
Oh my God.
Man, I
I
froze for a
remember.
second.
Yeah, I was reading that article just recently, and that guy. I don't know. It seems like today in today's world that people believe that music just gets created from trees or something. You know what I mean? That it doesn't require any effort whatsoever. And as a producer that's been doing this for 20 plus years, it really sucks because they have no idea the work, the hours you put in, the sleep that you lose. Sometimes you'll go a day or two without eating because you're so dedicated to the track you're working on. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan. Unfortunately, they have a huge platform, but it's, we got to do it for the love of music. And the biggest thing is that these guys act like that we're just minions, right? We're just a couple of people that just mix whatever, and all hail the king of Spotify, because he thinks that without them we can't do anything. But there's other
Right.
platforms that will kind of support the artist and stuff like that. So
Absolutely.
You have a sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask about some of the artists that you have on your label, because I know that you support a lot of.
yeah.
I don't want to say small, but I would say developing artists. Yeah.
Yeah. So cryptic music was a brainchild of mine to kind of start pushing on my own stuff. Because back in, I would say, 2012 to about 2015, I struggled to try to get on a bunch of labels. In the early 2000s, I would say in 2005, 2006 to 2008, it was a big era for a friend of mine by the name of DJ Tronic, and he had a record label called Resistance Recordings, and he was kind of part of the new school hard house producers. So we worked together, we collaborated a couple of times, we released a couple of records. Back then, it was vinyl.
Yeah.
So and then I started getting into the European market. Started hitting up some labels in the Netherlands. There was this one label called Rotterdam Techno, and they reached out to me, put out two records on them. Only American to have two solo records on that label, by the way. Just
Oh,
throwing that out.
breaking
Because
barrier. Love it.
yeah, because on that label you had DJ Bam Bam, you had Mark V and Poogie Bear, and then I was the other American artist on there. But they collaborated with some of their artists, so they had a track or two. I was able to pull off two solo EPs on that label before the label was shut down, because their stuff, they were supporting a lot of hard jump is what they used to call them back in the day. And then once hardstyle started kind of becoming a thing, they kind of just focused everything on hardstyle and kind of just pushed the label to the side. still a big, big thing for hard house, but hardstyle kind of started taking over. So when I created cryptic music, I wanted to just promote my stuff, my partner's stuff, which is his name is Splatterhouse. And when we started making music, I'm like, you know what? There's other guys just like us that are struggling to start. I'm not a big label. I don't got a big budget. I make my own artwork. I do my own distribution. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just see if I could help a couple of guys. So I started picking up some artists, and I got artists from Belgium, Japan, West Coast, East Coast, Spain, and I was even able to get Poogie Bear on my label, which should Big Rob should know.
Yeah. So,
Uh, yeah. So I got to meet him. I got to work with him, and yeah. And again, it's I'm still an indie label, but
Sure.
I'm still proud of everything that I do because my goal is to not to be a millionaire off of this, just to push as much music as possible for people like you guys, fans, so we could talk about music all night long.
yeah, that's exciting stuff. It's good to see platforms that are willing to help young develop upcoming artists, and not everybody does it. You see it more and more often, but it's great to meet you in person and finally say, hey, now we have an avenue for anyone who reaches out to us at Hardstyle Maniacs, because we're starting to get not a consistent, but we get emails from, hey, like I got one not too long ago. Hey, I'm an artist in Italy. How can you guys help me, basically? And it's like, well, we can help you by putting your music on our show. We can, if you got shows, we'll help you promote it. And now if anything, we'll start, redirecting these new artists or your way. Be like, hey, we'll send all your demos out to, Cryptic Music. They're a young label, new developing artist label. We're looking to get people to grow. So we're creating avenues in that sense, and it's great to have you as well, because it's kind of how we have to work this industry, and we're not one person can do it alone, and we can't do it alone. Even Hardstyle Maniacs or Hardstyle America. Look, when I started this stuff, I was by myself, and then Brandon came in, and since Brandon came or Magic came in on this thing, we have made this growing platform, and now we're getting people. Hey, can I come on your show? Can I come on your show? And we're booked like till August now, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a
Nice.
feeling to show that there's an interest in what we're doing, because we are creating that exposure, and that's kind of what you're doing. And it's great to have you on the show and expressing that, because it's amazing to hear it coming from you as well directly. So we're gonna sing a bunch of people your way now. I might even throw out a demo myself. I know a guy named Big Rob that may have released a song from the 90s.
Absolutely. I'm always open to anything, man, because the next artist could just be sitting around doing nothing right now and just waiting for that one label to say, you know what, I'll take a chance with you, see what happens, because that's how all these big artists happen, right? Nobody just walked out of nowhere, and it's like, you know what, you're a DJ, yeah, I'll let you headline DEF CON. Doesn't
Right.
that doesn't work. But if they start playing at small parties, and then the right person will be there having a bad day and be like, hey, I like this guy, and let's bring him on here, So I try to do that, because at my time, when I was younger, I didn't have that, because back in the day, Big Rob, if you remember, you had Under Construction, Abstract Music,
Strict.
you had
Yeah.
DJs like Richard Hump Division, Bad Boy Bill. And at that time, you're like, man, these guys are gods, these guys are legends. So how do I get to them? And it's impossible. But I start working on music, and then little by little, start getting people's attention. I don't know if you remember a guy named Mike Flores.
Yeah, he's
He,
actually one of my friends in LA. Yeah.
oh, really?
Yeah.
So here's a funny story, a fun fact. Technically, him and a guy named DJ Self were the guys that put me on into the hard house scene for the first time. My
Nope.
very first vinyl release was with Mike Flores on his Music Factory label.
Yeah. Mhm.
And yeah, and and from there, I just started pushing stuff out. Got with DJ Tronic, got the guys in the Europe, and started kind of making a name for myself. And a lot of because back then you had mix CDs and stuff that used to come out, and that's how you got your exposure.
The mashups,
And then, yeah, exactly. So my goal was to try to get on something like that. So and then you had DJ Venom. He's a big name on the East Coast, and then he started playing my stuff. And little by little, kind of sneaking here and there. A lot of my stuff was mostly in New York. I got to play in California in the early 2000s, and so I kind of always been around. Some people would be like, I've heard of you, but because haven't blown up or anything, but they still remember me from something in the past, and that's kind of how I start pushing stuff. And then in 2006, me and a friend of mine, he goes by the name of DJ How Hard, and he lives in New York City, and we started a Hard Cryptic record label, and that's a hardcore dedicated label. And we got guys like Nevolution, we got a couple of releases, Obstructa, he was one of our last artists. So, and just trying to hit everything. I love the hard style stuff. I love anything hard, like from terrorcore down to hard house and stuff like that, because it's a unique sound that we don't get a lot here on the East Coast. That's why I was kind of happy to meet Obstructa, so that way we could push out some of his stuff, because that kid is nuts, man. He makes some crazy stuff, man.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, we're gonna put him in Arizona. He's on the lineup as well. But not to cut you guys short, but let's go into another track. We're gonna put on Not Madness, so another little hard bang in there track for you guys. So be sure to follow Jimmy X. We got some more music coming along, so stick around after the song. We got some more conversation. I want to circle back to that whole hard house stuff, going into the Richard Vision stuff. Well, because now he goes Richard Vision. You can't call him Richard Humpty Vision anymore. You're gonna get a shoot thrown at us. But Richard Vision, and we'll get into that in a minute. So let's get your track on real quick.
Schemers trying to control their little worlds. I'm not a schemer.
This is not madness.
I try to show the schemers how pathetic their attempts to control things really are.
I'm back, nigga, what's up? How you get your buzz up? Fuck up. Fuck up. This is not madness. How you get your buzz up? Nigga, shut the fuck up. This is not madness.
Does it depress you to know just how alone you really are?
Yeah, taking me back, man. Taking me back.
Shit was lit, dude. I love that.
Because I even at the end when you do your tracks, well, you're old school. So when old school mentality is you got to leave enough for you the incoming track, which is usually 4 to 8 bars, between 30 seconds or so, and then the same amount of time at the end. Back in the day, we didn't have samplers, we didn't have anything, loops, sync. So when we make music, we always make sure that we had those bars at the beginning, at the end of each track. And I hear, I'm like, yep, that's old school right there. Oh, we lost your sound there.
There we go.
Oh,
Sorry
there
about
Hey,
that. Yeah, that's the way to do it, man. Because back in the day, like you said, it was all being pressed on vinyl, right?
hmm Yep.
And sometimes you might get lucky and get a radio edit, and sometimes you don't. So I used to just say, you know what, this is the DJ version, and sometimes nowadays you edit it and all that stuff for Spotify and so on and so forth. But I've always liked for DJs to play the whole song sometimes, So yeah.
so, so what do you think about that? Because I hear that a lot of people say that quick mixing is it, that if you play more than like a minute or two. But then on the other hand, because I was having this conversation with my buddy the other day, and he was like, "Nah, dude, like, yeah, the first verse might be the best, but I still be hitting on the second verse too." And so, whenever I was doing the party the other day, you try to keep the energy going, but it's hard to it's hard to tell, I guess, because you know what I mean, like. I guess I think that depends on how long the song is too, because if the song's more than like maybe 3 or 4 minutes, you got to mix
Yeah.
out after, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, what do you think about that? Quick mixing versus
So I used to, for DJing, I used to do a lot of quick mixing, only because you want to get as many tracks in as possible, but also having people watch you perform, right? And they're like, "Oh my god, this guy's cutting this record and this and that." So when I was playing, I did a lot of vinyl. So sometimes I come from a scratching background, battle
okay.
style. So I used to place records on top of each other, play for like 15 seconds, take it out, throw in the other record, and it was purely just to show off your DJ skills, right? Nowadays, you're playing for like 2, sometimes even 4 hours. So to play 1,000 records in that 4 hours, it's physically impossible. It'll wear you out. So I think it has its place. I'm a big fan of quick mixing, but there's some songs that I kind of just let it play because there are people that'll make a 2-minute song just for that. Or the first half is awesome, but the second half is bad, or the first bad part of it is awful, and then the second part is badass. So as long as you kind of do that, I think that's where I would do the quick mixing, because sometimes you're like, man, this 16 bar is the best, but the rest kind of sucks. But I'm gonna
Sure, sure.
play this short part of it. Yeah.
You've mentioned vinyl a lot, and I know Big Rob over here. He comes from a vinyl background too. I have used vinyl, but I've never DJ'd with vinyl. You know what I mean? So there's a
Right.
lot of purists that say, well, you're not a real DJ unless you know how to spin on vinyl. And with controllers nowadays, you can still replicate vinyl on a controller.
Right.
What are your thoughts about that? Like using maybe a phase or something like that?
So it's funny you say it because I just had a conversation with a friend of mine, right? Back in the day when I first started, back in the 90s and early 2000s, that's all we did was vinyl. We did CDs, but back then the CDJs were crap, right? So you'll play the vinyl because that's all you will find. In Europe, they love their vinyl, so they'll press everything on vinyl. Now, this is the only part that gets a little controversial because there's some vinyl heads and then there's some, audio files. So, vinyl heads buy records to just collect, right? Audiophiles believe that that is God sent music for them. I still think that a CD quality is always going to beat out the quality on vinyl. Now, vinyl is awesome, it sounds great, but in time it starts wearing out. The needle wears it out. You get crackles and scratches and all that stuff, and you can't fix that. With CDs, you would just rip it, put it on a USB stick, and boom, you got it, right? So I started with vinyl. I'm gonna die with vinyl, but I still think CDs and any audiophile will always outperform vinyl. Vinyl is more of a, at least for me, a collector's thing. I will still do a vinyl set all day. It just won't be the greatest sounding mix, but I could still pull it off.
And I think that that's my biggest argument, not necessarily against vinyl, but in favor, I would say, of controllers. Is if nothing else, I can jump up and down if I want. Like I've seen
Right,
Thera
right.
literally get on top of the table and start clap lunging. You know what I mean? And you can't do that with vinyl. So I do want to learn how to mix on vinyl, but I do think that that's the reason that, in my opinion, controllers are superior.
Right, right.
You,
Because the biggest thing with vinyl is the turntables will drift. So you constantly gotta be pitch shifting, right? Because they'll just start drifting. And if you don't have like the latest and greatest, like if you have the Technics 1200s, which is the pinnacle for turntables, those even drifted after a while. I still got my original turntables, and they're like 20 plus years old, and every once in a while you gotta readjust. So that's where I believe the quick mixing came from, because after a while it'll just start drifting, and if you're not paying attention, you'll start train wrecking and sets over.
Interesting.
and there's a lot of debates on that one. Controller versus vinyl, and you know, button pushers, and old P grandpas. But at the end of the day, the only people who are bickering back and forth about that are DJs, because the crowd doesn't know left from right.
Hmm.
You're there to perform for the art, for the fans. They don't care whether you're using a sync button or you're using Technic 1200s. The point is, you're there to read the crowd, and you're supposed to give them music so they could, enjoy that evening and that set of yours. And I think that's kind of what people don't understand, is that they bicker back and forth about technicalities. And even though, if you go back in the days before, turntables, who was the battle before? It was the DJs versus bands. Right now,
Yeah,
musicians,
yeah, yeah. That's
well,
true.
you're not a real musician because all you're doing is spinning records. And then the record player guys are saying, well, you're not a real DJ because all you do is pushing buttons. And who's to say what the next generation is going to be? So at the end of the day, it's for the people. Yeah, those there who are there to support you. And as long as they're having a great time, you as a DJ, whether it's vinyl or controller or band, if you do your job, your fans will love you, and that's the most important part of the whole thing, anyways, right? You're an artist performing for your fans, and I think that's how we should look at it all. And I used to be different too, so I'm not gonna lie, I was that hypocrite that said, vinyl supersedes controller, but then I got a controller. Like, wow, had I had this years ago, that would be a whole different thing. I wouldn't carry 3 crates of music.
Oh yeah, those good old crates. I still got my crate with all the stickers and tags that your check-in tags from the airports. I
Hmm.
still got all that. I love that case. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good
All
stuff.
I know is that the one thing we can all agree on is that pre-recorded sets is not real art. That we have to be doing mixing, to be doing DJing, and that's one thing that Dead Mouse has made a lot of controversy recently, and I think that there's just integrity there. Even if you're bad, do it. You know what I mean? Like, do it bad, do it good, whatever. But at least it's you. It's your expression. It's you. Putting yourself out there rather than someone else doing your music, and then maybe you're well defined or whatnot, and you might be able to sell more tickets. But I do think that there is an art that comes with DJing, just like
Yeah.
any type of music. And even if you are going to do a pre-recorded set, at least have it be your pre-recorded set, right? As opposed to having someone else do it for you. I don't know. That's my last little controversy for the day, I guess.
And you're right, because the thing is, what I do as a full-time job, I do AV. So I set up lights, I set up sound system, video walls, stuff like that. So I agree with you 100%. But it does make sense why they go do that, because you have to sync the music with the lights and stuff, you know? And I hate that, but because I'm just playing the devil's advocate here, if you maintain it as a live set, unless you could pre-program, right? I would say the compromise will be pre-program your mix, still play it live, just choose what you want to do, program it, and then play it live. I feel like
Sure.
that would be a fair compromise, right? Opposed to just playing okay, hit play and then pretend that you're doing stuff, you know? Yeah, with that, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get that for a festival, like when you have the fireworks and flames and everything, like there's a lot of production that goes into that. But at least, again, have that be your mix. You know what I mean? Like you personalize it, take some pride in it, and you know, if you do, great. If you don't, but at least it's you. You know?
Right. Exactly.
Well, yeah, this is a definitely topic. I agree 100%. For the most part, DJs go into festivals with a set they've already rehearsed, performed multiple times, and they'll probably use the same set for the entire year. So I would say you give the audio and visual people, here's my set. For the most part, you're going to duplicate your set live. I think that would be the best part anyways. And yeah, you're going to be off a little bit, but at least the AV guy knows, hey, well, this track's coming on. We got this, and you resync, blah, blah, blah. You know, so there's a lot of contingency plans in place. But yeah, I agree. You know, pre-recorded sets don't allow you to read your crowd, because if you have a recorded set and you're tanking with your crowd, what are you going to do?
Right.
You know, you can't just maybe jump in because you're faking it already.
Right. Exactly.
I swear, just give it another 45 seconds. It'll start dropping. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, these are your favorite songs, but may not be your crowd at the moment. They may be in a bad mood. The festival ambience may be different than, you know, when you had made this mix. But, you know, word to the DJs out there, man, play your music live. If you're a festival traveling artist, you know, you're always going to repeat your set. You might change a track or two, you know, within the moment, but for the most part, you're in the zone using the same mix over and over and over. Your AV people will get used to your track, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, I have to say that I haven't had to worry about any fireworks or anything like that, but I have done a unique set for every show that we've done. I've never done the same set twice. So at least there's that. I can say that.
I'll give you kudos, man, because back in the days, when vinyl days, we would just have our save first 12 tracks, the vinyl all in the same order. You knew it was it was by, you know, default. You knew it was coming on, and then when you buy that new track with that white label, you're like, I'm gonna throw this right here. That's how you would change up your mix, you know.
Yep, there you go. Exactly.
But speaking of music, let's go into one more track. This one is called "The Wolf." Now, this is is it Ura remix? Ura remix. All right, let's go to this track and then we'll come back and continue this chat.
Blow that fucking mic down and back.
Yeah, you don't mess with the big bad wolf, man. We got about, let's see, about 15 minutes left of the show. I do want to run down the last part of the real quick. Do you go back into the LA days, and do you know Mr. Gabriel Horizon?
Yes.
That's one of my boys right there, man.
Nice.
We go way. He's the one that masters all my tracks, by the way.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never got to meet him in person or anything, but he was definitely part of that era back in the day, man.
Him and LaRock. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Big shouts out to Bounce Music. My boy right there. So, Mr. Gabriel Horizon. Yeah, another good friend of mine, Henry. You know Henry.
Yes. I don't know him, but I know of him.
Yeah.
These guys, I don't know if you saw Mike Flores's
The
what's it
documentary.
called? Yeah.
I still haven't seen it. Yes,
Are
the
you
hard thing.
serious? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have a small part in it. I have a small part in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So like my boy Jungle George too is one of my boys too. Which you're talking all my era. This is kind of where the pivot standing point where I blossom into music production as well, and DJing days back in days with vinyl. But yeah, man, it's good to know you're from the same avenue, man. It's
Oh
amazing.
yeah, dude. Hard house music was my shit, man. It was the best. It was the life changing style of music, man. I loved it. Waxworks Records and
Mhm.
like George Centeno and all those guys out there. Oh my
Tony
god,
B
man.
and all them. Yeah, big shout out to
Yeah.
you, man. I know you're watching one day, man.
So since we're name dropping, I like to ask everybody, and before we get too far, I want to ask you if you could collaborate with any producer or any artist, in either past, present, future, who would it be?
Oh man. At the moment, you mean any time in the world or like currently?
Yeah. I mean, like if you could currently, that would be one. But if you also have like someone that was a big inspiration that you would have worked with, that would be a good one too.
Um man, I would say probably George Centeno from Waxworks. And currently, there's a guy named DJ Pat B. He's from Belgium, so he got a big jump style label. So it would be great to work with him as well.
That's awesome. I always like to try to put it out in the universe, and hopefully, maybe one of these other producers might be able to see this, and you guys might be able
Oh,
to link
that's
up. That'd be
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
And we're always talking. Well, we're talking about young developing artists. What is your advice to these young artists in terms of success and path and journeys? And what would you tell these guys? What to keep doing and what not to keep doing?
I would say the best advice is stay patient. Don't let emotions get too mixed up with critical like critics, right? You're always going to be your worst critic. And what I've experienced in the last few years is producer will send me stuff and the moment I'll say, not my style, but keep going, some people get upset, They're like, "Oh, but I worked so hard." Believe me, I know you did. But the labels have a certain sound. So if you could copy that sound, you'll be on the label. Because the thing is, when you force music on labels, all you're doing is kind of shooting yourself in the foot, per se. So the best thing is be patient. Don't worry about bad critics. Take it as you know something positive. What's the word I'm looking for?
Constructive criticism.
Yeah, constructive criticism. Thank you.
Mhm.
So, because that's only going to make you better. Because if you want that sound to be that sound, you'll get it. But if you don't think that fits the label, there's other labels that will love your stuff. Because the biggest thing is you're a badass producer. You'll always be a good producer, but patience. Make sure you're patient and don't take everything too personal because that'll be the biggest roadblock you will ever deal with. And like I said, for me, that's what happened with me. So I started my own label to start pushing that out. If I would have been a little more patient, I probably would have been with a bigger label, but it worked out for me at the end. So that would be my number one advice is be patient.
Excellent advice. In terms of DAWs, I know everybody has their preference, but we always like to get into the DAW situation. Like, what is your preference in your DAW?
Oh, Logic Pro all the way, man. I've been a Logic guy
Nice.
for 20 plus years, man. I did it before Apple bought them. It used to be owned by a company called eMagic, and that was before Apple took over. And I've been loyal to that DAW ever since, man. I'm not a fan of
Nice.
Ableton. Sorry, Ableton guys, but there's Reaper, there's Cubase, there's Steinberg stuff. I mean, there's all types of stuff. But Logic, hardcore till the day I die, man. I love that software.
See, I use Logic, and I'm in the clouds right now because I still don't fully understand Logic, and there's a lot of sounds in my head that I can't not duplicate, and I don't see a lot of tutorials when it comes to Logic. And for like the master class, a lot of them are like FL Studio or Ableton for the most part. Those are the two.
Right.
I don't see, it's very rare, the diamond in the rough, to say, hey, you know what? Here's some tutorials on hard dance for Logic. I'm like, they don't exist. So I went in.
Hey, maybe I should start a tutorial series then.
Yeah, that would
There
be.
you go.
Tutorial.
I'd be the first one in line. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna call you. Hey, bro, can you show me, bro? I want to. But yeah, see, that's why we like to bring that up, because not just from personal experience, but it's good to have perspective on things. Is like Logic is still powerful, and it's not getting the credit it deserves. So people just jump onto the FL and Ableton, and even I find those a little bit more easier to use, but still cumbersome enough to. I still can't fully express my craziness up here. Like, I'll show you one of my tracks. You see how crazy. You'll see. You'll be like, yep, I know exactly what you're doing here. And even the remixes I have, you'd be like, oh, this mother blanket went there. It did,
Yeah.
But, and then Magic's going to be releasing some music soon. So hopefully, I got to put that in the universe for him so that way he doesn't forget.
No. As a matter of fact, I have been working with Hardphonics on my first track that I'm going to debut at our August event. So, yeah, I'm actually really excited about that. It's not an original track. It's a rework of something. Yeah, it's a very special rework for the event, and it's going to be exclusive for this particular venue, and I think everybody's going to really enjoy it. I know that I've enjoyed talking with him and kind of seeing his process. He's really brilliant, like honestly. He's like, so you following? I'm like, yeah, dude, absolutely. I'm watching every step of the way. I'm gonna have to come back, but I'm very everything. I'm seeing exactly where his brain is going. It's just like most of it is learning the dawn and learning where everything is, and that comes with experience and trial and error. But to be able to see his thought process and go from just a blank canvas to what we have already was quite amazing. So I am looking forward to having. What's that?
Sorry, what is the DAW you guys are using?
I forget which one that he uses. I've just been watching him. Honestly, I haven't.
Okay.
I gave him the template, right, and then I've been learning through watching him develop the track.
So yeah, very excited for Mr. Magic's inaugural track. And again, it doesn't have to be it does not have to be original when you're performing it live. Most of these DJs use edits anyways, and when they're performing, and they just kind of venture out. Since you're not selling it, it doesn't matter. Just keep going. Don't stop.
Yeah.
And
no. This is going to be exclusive for this event. I don't think I'll ever have any other opportunity to play it again. Like, this is a very, what do you call it, venue specific track that we're making. And I just had the idea, and I was like, you know what? I'm already working with him on the master class for his Patreon. So I was like, hey, this would be a great thing for me to kind of learn the process of it. And then once this is done, we're going to do an original track where I'm going to actually build it with him. But we only have a couple more weeks. So I was like, no, let me just kind of learn by watching for this one. And then I'll be a lot more hands-on for the next one. But I have the ideas. It's going to happen. I'm looking forward to everything, and I would like to thank you, Jimmy. I met you about a year ago. It was an honor to meet you, and it was a brief time, but ever since then, and I've been telling you, man, I'm going to bring you on the show. We're going to do a show. I'd love to see you on the marquee. You know what I mean? So this is step one to get to there, and I
That's
appreciate your
awesome, man. I
patience.
appreciate it.
And
Thank you so much.
yeah, dude, that's why I'm here, is to try to keep all that stuff going, that energy going. So I appreciate you, and everything that you do for the industry. All the artists that you're bringing up, and everything else like that. So yeah, I can't, just barely scratching the surface for now, and I look forward to bringing you back on the show. Yeah, super exciting.
Absolutely, man. Anytime, just let me know, man. I'm always down.
Yeah, so we're at the part of the show now where we need to give shout outs, and we got to get your plugins, man. We can't leave without you plugging in your stuff, man. So plug away, brother.
That's true.
You got this camera, this camera, this camera, this camera. So again, thank you for the opportunity of being on your show. Well, you can find all my stuff at jimmyx.com. You can find my stuff on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, beatport.com, Juno Download. Pretty much anywhere you can find music, you'll find my stuff. This year, I'm going to be working with my partner, Splatterhouse, and we're going to come out with some new stuff. So for 2025, I got some new stuff, some experimental stuff that I could kind of see if I could transition the hard house into the hardcore and the hardstyle stuff, because I'm starting to feel that melodic stuff. And that's a big thing for that style of music. So I want to see if I could kind of blend both into one and see, what kind of hot mess I could create. But yeah, man, that's pretty much the main thing. I'm just going to be focused in the studio, see if I could just create maybe a new genre or something, who knows?
I love it.
That's nice. Nice fusion of hard banging house and hardstyle.
Mm-hmm.
Some banging hardstyle. There it is. Some bang style.
Bang style. There you go.
Bang style. Shit, you heard it first here. Trademark.
That's awesome.
Thanks for it was a pleasure. It's great to go down memory lane with someone who was in the same era and knows the network of people I know. So big shouts out to you as well. Thank you for taking your time today. And we'll definitely be in touch, because you and I definitely have a lot of, we could talk for hours, and I want to run a couple things by you. Obviously,
Absolutely.
I got an artist that who may need to be signed later on in the future. You might know him. His name is Magic, but we'll talk about that later. Got to get him on a label somewhere. But we do get a lot of people out there, that reach out to us, say, hey, what can you do for me? And obviously, we're at the end of the road, or a fork in the road for them. Is like, okay, well, I can send you here or send you here. And now at least I have an option to send people your way to get your demos out there. And do you have a link for demos on your website that I can say, hey, go to jimmyx.com and upload a demo there, and we'll see what we can do for you, type of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. If just go to jimmyx.com, and that's my little music hub that'll give you pretty much everything that I do. And if you go to the contact side of it, I have a demo at jimmyx.com, and you'll find all the stuff there. Or you can reach me at jimmyx at gmail. I'm sorry. It's jimmyx at hardcrypticrecords.com, and that's sending demos there.
Oh, there you go, Maniacs. If you got a demo out there that's unsigned, be sure to send it to Jimmy X, because that could be the first opening door for you guys. And you never know. You could be a big superstar headlining soon. So thank you, Jimmy, for joining us today. Be sure to follow Jimmy, everyone. Thank you for watching the broadcast. As always, we thank you. Be sure to purchase your tickets for the Go Hard show in Arizona. Go to hardstylemaniacs.com. Follow the link on the article for Go Hard on the top menu, and make sure you get your tickets early, save money. And we'll see you in Arizona. Hopefully, if everything goes well, we'll all be alive and kicking and raging together. So, and the next coming show, I'll drop the plug. We are working to interview our headliner, so we're working on locking in some dates for that. So we'll make the full announcement on that pretty soon. So hopefully we'll get a full commitment and everything, which we have a commitment. We just got to lock in a date. So pretty soon we'll be able to talk to Gio on Hardstyle America, and we're very excited to have him on the show pretty soon. So thank you again for tuning in. I am Biggest Big Rob, and my co-host as always,
DJ Magic, what to do?
and a big thank you to Jimmy X for taking his time today, man. We appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you again. My pleasure.
And we're going to go out with the Time Stalker track. So be sure to subscribe to all his YouTube channels and Spotify and anywhere music platforms. Make sure you follow. Take care.
It's the Time Stalker. 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 Time Stalker. It's the Time Stalker. It's the Time Stalker. It's the Time Stalker. It's the Time Stalker. Time Stalker. It's the 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 Time Stalker.